Michael, disappointing scoreline ultimately, of course. How do you reflect on today's game?
Well, obviously a lot of frustrations, as you can imagine. I think there's a lot of things went against us today. I thought obviously up until the goal there was nothing in the game. It was a game of chess, and we were both sort of feeling each other out, trying to make the breakthrough, find the deadlock. They got it, and I was a bit disappointed. Well, very disappointed in the way and the manner that they got it. But that happens. Okay, you can go goal behind in games at times, but clearly the sending off just puts us like back on the back foot. I've looked at it a few times from different angles. I think it is harsh. He's not jumped in with 2 feet. His legs are not particularly elevated off the floor as well. I get that he catches the lad, and I'm not trying to deny that by any way, stretch of imagination, but I don't think it's deliberate, dangerous foul play or anything like that. I think it's just an honest challenge for the ball. So once that happens, it makes it obviously doubly difficult. And obviously, as you've seen with the goal, if that tried to happen 50 times, it won't happen again. Like 49 times out of 50, that's not going to happen. Lloydie's just tried to do the right thing and intercept a pass, and then inadvertently put their player in, who's obviously in an offside position. So if it would have been their player, then obviously the goal wouldn't have stood. So those type of things happen when confidence is a little bit low, and we're in situations that we are at this moment in time. There's a little bit of baggage clearly there with players that were here last year that I need to deal with and I need to manage. And we've got to man up a little bit now, and we've just got to make sure that as a unit we stay together. It's all right saying the right things, but that words are words. Just got to try and put it into practice and try and take first goal in a game. Once you get the first goal in a game, you give yourself an opportunity. So I'm not going to say anything that you've not heard 100,000s of times. It's a difficult situation for us, but I'd like to think there's enough characters and enough sort of leaders in there to get us through it.
Goal scoring has clearly been a concern in the opening weeks of the season. Do you take encouragement though from that first half performance, in as much you worked their keeper a couple of times and worked the ball into decent areas?
Yeah, I think you have to. Obviously, we'll always focus on the positives, make sure the players are aware of the negative side of the game, but certainly from a positive point of view, we spent a lot of time in their half in that first half. But the reality is, we know we're not stupid. The quality has to be better, whether that's the actual ball into the box, whether that's being aggressive enough at the far post or getting bodies into the box to try and do something about it, or when we get all them things right, get bodies in the box, we lock out the far post, get a good cross in, just be better. Yeah, make the keeper work. Don't miss the target, don't miss hit shots, don't miss it, overhit the balls into the box, the crosses into the box. So we're not, I'm not going to start making excuses for us from that point of view. We have to be better. It's simple as that. I have to ask more questions of the players, which I'll do. I'm probably going to upset 1 or 2 players, which I'll do. But the reality is we need some kind of effect. And obviously, clearly, it can be difficult if we concede the first goal because there's an anxiousness around the place, which I completely understand. So our focus in the next game is to try and score the first goal, and if we try and score the first goal and we get that, then it gives us a platform to play from.
Is possibly changing formation something you consider at this stage, the way it's gone early weeks of the season?
Potentially, and it's obviously, look, it's a formation that I've not sort of done massively in my career anyway. It's a formation that a lot of teams in this division do play. Obviously today we were up against a back four who were well drilled and half decent side. They know when to play short, they know when to go long. They had a lot of pace on the top line. So yeah, that's something that we have to do, because we have to look at every opportunity and every potential opportunity to try and change and be better, and certainly that's one thing that we can do.
Do you have to keep reminding yourself almost that it is still so early in the season, given how results have gone in the opening weeks? There's a lot of time to try and rectify this and put things right.
Yeah, and that was one of the things I reminded the players in the dressing room. It's like, we're aware that because of what's happened recently and what's happened over the last 2 or 3 years, there's very much, it's either like ecstasy or catastrophe in everything that happens. So if it's a result that we want and we get, there's probably a reaction's probably over the top, and it's probably the same, to be fair, with a result that we don't get. But again, that goes back to maybe switching off and not allowing what's happened in the past to try and affect us, and just think, right, like you just said, we've got 43 games to go. Make sure that the next game's the most important game rather than one that's just gone.
It's tough for the fans, though, isn't it? They haven't seen their team win here since early February now.
Listen, I've got no problem with that at all. Like, I completely understand frustrations. I've got no issues whatsoever with that, and I can assure you, us all involved with it on a day-to-day basis, spending hours at the training ground, whether that's sort of training and preparing, analysing, we're all in the same boat. And the reality is, we're not going to get out of this until everybody is unified. It's not going to happen, because we need to give the fans hope. The fans have got to try and be as patient as they possibly can, regards to what's happened over the last few years. I know how difficult that is, and then once we've got a little bit of hope, that might enable us to, like say, start games like we did today, but obviously get that first goal.
We spoke to you before the game about yesterday's news, the departure of Director of Football Mickey Moore. Just as an extra to that, does it change things at all in the short term in terms of the transfer window, in terms of possible additions to the squad in any way, shape or form?
Not massively. I mean, obviously, there's probably one or two of the players that need to leave the building, and that's a role that I've sort of done in the past when I've just been a manager without a director of football, and if I have to do that, then I will do that. That's part of my job. And bringing players in, like I say, it's just a different voice on the end of the phone call. Still, there's a lot of people out there that I know I can sort of rely on in terms of getting favours and being able to, try and improve the squad and get a little bit more quality into the group.
Thanks for your time, Michael.
Cheers.